I've established my voice in this business as an opinionist, as someone who has a point of view, as someone who is educated, as someone who has put in the work. Whatever anyone believes about how I got here or why I got here or what happens, that doesn't erase my resume and what I've done.
What's good, what's poppin'? I say what's good, what's poppin'. What it is, what it ain't, what it could be, what it should be, what it would be. Cam Newton or some. Mr. Boogie to all here with another episode of Funky Friday. And I promise, I really do promise, to give good content for the masses, but most of all, ladies and gentlemen, I just promise to keep it funky. I couldn't wait. Oh my goodness. Oh man. So much emotion, so much excitement just for this because so much respect as well too. But as we get into our intro, she's a sports journalist, she's a host, businesswoman, graduate of Barry University with an honorary doctorate degree, proud daughter, proud sister, most of all, a proud auntie. I present to some and I introduce to others. Let's get ready to rumble. Miss Joy Taylor.
Hi, Kim. That was quite the intro. I need to up my energy for my my podcast.
You got 15 minutes. Within the first 15 minutes of YouTube, you just gotta, yeah.
I'm gonna have to start doing that.
You got to.
That was good.
Linear don't teach you that.
That's true. That's true.
They're gonna be there. They're gonna be there regardless.
They want you to. What was the note I got early in my career? Sound like a cheerleader.
Go ahead.
No, I had a producer once tell me that. They're like, you need to think like cheerleader. I was like, let me do my thing. I think I got it.
Guy or
Guy,
gal?
yeah, of course. No shades. Cheerleaders bring great energy. It wasn't the note that I needed. Yeah.
I don't get cheerleader vibes. So much in common. I mean, unapologetic, bold, very verbal, and just a walking viral moment. And one thing that me and you both have in common, we don't give a flute. Woo. Feel me? I'm excited. The thing about it that where you are right now, very peculiar situation, right? As we have this conversation, I want to make sure that I owe a service to not just you, but the audience, just to make sure that by the time you leave, hopefully, I show a side or you show a side of yourself that people can embrace and love. Straight up. Recent news. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Did you see this coming?
There were some murmurs, some conversations about some changes coming to the network. So it didn't come as a total surprise. Obviously, it was pretty sweeping changes. Our show being canceled and then the 2 morning shows as well. But that is the business. You know, the networks have a right to make changes. They do this all the time.
Right.
It's not limited just to sports shows or anything like that. So it was a surprise for sure, but not totally unexpected.
What was unexpected about it?
Well, I thought that the show was doing really well. Our show with Key and Paul, we had a lot of momentum. The network had kind of relaunched everything recently, although that's not necessarily historically been a factor as far as making changes there. But things come to an end. Nothing is forever. I was at the network for 9 years, had a lot of experiences there. I'm sure I'll look back once time passes. Obviously, this is very, very recent.
Yeah.
And have different perspectives on it. I don't really like to I'm not a reactionary person. I like to take things in, consume them, let some time pass, simmer, slow play things.
Yeah.
So, there's a bit of a grieving period when,
for sure.
You've spent so much time in a place and obviously built great relationships with my coworkers and with the staff. And obviously anytime that there are changes like this, it doesn't just affect talent.
Yeah.
There's a whole crew of people that are putting together these shows and working behind the scenes that also get affected. So, that's my first thought, because, we work with producers and crew every day to make sure that the show is
The best.
what we all want it to be. And they put in the work that nobody sees. So, for them, people that I've worked with for almost a decade, some of them, that was my first thought. And, it's kind of like when coaches get fired. It's why I'm so adamant in my career in sports talking about coaching, that when we fire coaches, you're not just firing the head coach.
Yeah.
You're firing an entire staff.
No, for sure.
People. And everybody isn't in the same situation as the head coach is.
For sure.
So it's just, there's a lot of movement. It's a lot of turnover. But yeah, I'm sure I'll have a different perspective on it as time passes. But it was unexpected. And these things happen.
Were you privy to the analytics of the show? Like when you were like, you felt as if the show was getting the notoriety, and did you see the visible back office things?
No, I mean, I'm talent, so I don't have say in like the marketing or how the, social media is handled or any of those things, commercials, stuff like that. All I can control is what, we do on the show and the performance that we do on the show. And, these shows also take time to build up momentum and audiences and need support and need those type of things in order to be successful. So, I've been a part of some pretty big shows at that network.
No,
we
for
launched
sure.
Undisputed with Skip and Shannon, which at the time, 9 years ago, that feels like, it was a long time ago,
Yeah,
but it was a big production to launch that show. It was a big moment in sports television to launch that show.
Yeah.
Skip obviously coming from ESPN, Shannon stepping into the opinion space alongside Skip, and, all of that energy from him leaving. Obviously, I was with Colin for multiple years,
sure.
so we had a launch for that. So again, I have a saying, like, I just work here. I can only control what I can control. I think we were doing a good show, and it had a lot of momentum, and we had a good time doing it. And for the most part, my standing last memory there is working with two great people, in Keyshawn and Paul, and we had a real family atmosphere with the staff and with the two of them. They've obviously known each other forever, both being LA natives, and we just had a great time doing the show. And I think the energy from us being around each other, it being more like laughs than debate, was really cutting through. But I don't make those decisions for what they want to do for the future of the network. And like I said, these things happen. And our show wasn't the only one that was cut. There's 2 other shows cut as well, even though I am the face of it.
Yeah.
But, it's a more clickable face, I guess.
The surprising one was the facility, right? And it's crazy because I have a lot of respect for a lot of people stepping from off the field to in the media. And Emmanuel Acho is a person who I respect highly. Not just, his opinions, but how he presents it. And, he's a swordsman verbally. And I remember when he was starting the facility, and he reached out, he was like, yo, bro, I want you to come on the show. And I was asking, like, as a regular or as, like, talent or whatever. We was, going back and forth, and I just simply asked him, I was like, yo, bro, do you own it? He was like, no, this is a Fox show. But I'm like, do you own it? Do you have any type of percentage of that? And I spoke briefly about this on my 4th and 1 sports adjacent show. And 2 or 3 years ago, there was almost like this ha with athletes and y'all little podcasts. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh man, y'all just go on y'all little podcast and y'all just go crazy. And y'all just get to talking out the side of your neck. But I'm like, when I see what happened, not that dare I say, kick you while you're down. I'm like, bro, I think this is a public service announcement for each and every individual, because these networks, they got to protect themselves first.
Of course.
And so should you.
Well, yes, absolutely. I totally agree. The business has changed. When I started in the business, it was 2007. Twitter was, I don't even know, a thing at that point. YouTube certainly was not anywhere near what it is now. It certainly wasn't monetizable. You didn't have podcasts. You didn't have streaming. So when you came up on that side of the business, and I started in radio, you had to be with a network because the platforms didn't exist.
For sure.
Talking on your little podcast thing, it takes a lot of time to build this up.
No, for
It takes equity. It takes finances to build this up. It takes effort. It is a job. Right. No, we're not, digging ditches, but there is a lot of time and effort and creativity and energy spent on building these shows up into a place where you own it and you can do this and make money. Right. So 100% agree with you, but everybody isn't an entrepreneur. Everybody is not built for that life, doesn't have the energy for that life, I'm not saying that as a negative thing at all. Like, that is completely actually a normal thing to do. It's very hard to be an entrepreneur. It's hard to do this for yourself. But the benefit of it is nobody can cancel you.
I'll say it this way, and let's kind of move the goalpost a little bit. When you're talking about life or death, and you're talking about survival, everybody may not know how to swim. And if you don't, you'll die. So now, bringing the goalpost back to business, when you say everybody's not an entrepreneur, it's almost like swimming. You have to have. I look at a person like yourself, who is so much misunderstood, and that's why I'm so excited. It's like, yo, I got it. Like, finally, a person that, like, I can go back and forth with and just ask, what did you really mean? Because it happens to me all the time. But even for you, free game for the world to see is like, Fox knows, ESPN knows, Disney knows that it's a flex. It comes with a lot of lineage of respect being on these networks. I think as talent, you can't think as talent. You have to think as the entrepreneur. How can I leverage this opportunity? When you're in LA, when they would have like the questions of the day, like this or that, instead of putting it on Fox, hey, do it with yours. It's something as small as that. And I think the hardest thing for me transitioning into media is twofold. It's like being a member of the media, where you have to understand the weight of your voice from the sports realm, but also being a member of the media where now you're a content creator and you're learning from that realm too. Because it's like, I look at a Shannon Sharpe, I look at a Skip Bayless, I look at a Colin Cowherd, I look at a Stephen A. Smith, I look at a Molly Curran, Joy Taylor, a Monica McNutt on one side, but I also look at a Duke Dennis, a DDG, a Castanet, a Mr. Beast, all these individuals, and I try to combine it for my own interests and for my own pursuit to coin. You know what I'm saying? And I think as an athlete, there's a lot of things that you have to unlearn that really doesn't matter at the end of the day. Me primarily being like, man, and I sometimes you have to explain what this camera, this is my camera guy. It's like, man, he doing too much. As an athlete, we never had that kind of, like, bro, you walking with a camera guy, bro? Like, get your little photographer. It was that. But when you see the guys that are really serious in this, when you see a Castanet and how he moves like an army of people around that's monitoring his streams, who's monitoring his comments that are engaging in real time, and you see a guy like DJ Khaled who controls his socials by himself, and so many different other guys where, Adam W., like, these guys and gals are extremely brilliant. And if you don't learn how to swim, if you don't have that entrepreneurial interest to say, hold on, what are they doing? And this is the thing that I had to unlearn. We try to be so cool and say, man, what he doing really ain't, rather than saying, you know what, bro? Hey, help me real quick with this. What's your staff look like? Give me a descriptive of what each person does. And if you do that with the resources of a Disney, of a Fox, then potentially you could become bulletproof.
You're right, but there's different levels of swimming, right? Mm-hmm. There's Michael Phelps, and then there's, being able to tread water.
Let's talk about it.
So if you're doing content and streaming and, running basically a full-time show,
yeah.
That's that's a Michael Phelps level swimming. If you're, just posting on social every once in a while, then you're just treading water. Right. The question of the matter is, what do you want to do? Like, how much of yourself do you want to put into this? Because the way that the business is moving and changing and everything that you just described is 100% correct. Mm-hmm. And if you want to be able to always say, I have my own, I'm fine, then you have to put the effort into your own. You should absolutely leverage every situation that you have. Correct. I 100% agree. But it is not easy to run a business. It's not easy to run a staff. It's not easy to make sure that, everything is done properly and posted on time and that the, captions correct and all of those things that go into that. So I don't think that it's, I don't want to hold everyone that goes into the business to the standard of you should have to build your own empire. Working for a network means you don't have to hire people. You don't have to do that. Yeah, it's stability, it's consistency, it's showing up for a certain amount of hours and, going home. And for a lot of people, that's enough, and I get it.
For sure.
For maybe me and you, we want more, which sometimes I feel like is a curse. No, but it's the cost of aspiration, and there's levels and there's different jobs in this business. And as the business changes and it becomes more content driven and it becomes more digital, you have to decide where you want to fall in it. And if you want to be reliant on, an employer only, then that is a risk.
But it's not more so about swimming or the tiers or the ability to swim. I think the biggest thing for me is the willingness to know that you're not Michael Phelps. I need to get there, though. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even expecting, because you're talking to a person that I never imagined Iconic Saga being what it is today. But it was pillars. It was a vision to say, like, man, let's just start with pregame hype videos. Dang, ESPN picked that up? There's something there. All right. Well, Cam said this. Those major platforms talks about it. Mm-hmm. Now, the game has changed. And now, I didn't say it that way. Instead of focusing on Twitter, which it still is a big platform, X still is a platform to clear certain things up. It's like, no. Hey, you want to hear my response? Go to my YouTube. You know what I'm saying? When I first came into the league in 2011, that was not a thing to do. Coming into the league now in 2025, everybody is expected to have their own, platform.
Their own brand.
You know what I mean? And like, protect the brand, like what's doing it? Like, bro, do things that are authentic to you. And they've always ridiculed, they've always critiqued, they've always said that. And I'm a perfect example of, like, bro, stand on what you believe in. The way you type, the way you text, the way you dress. Like, I'm so comfortable with that, but I'm always eager and learning to say, like, hold on, why is this person getting this job? Or, hey, don't worry about it, I'm gonna ask him. Like, some people, they don't even ask the question.
Well, asking for help also is a thing, right? Like, I remember the day I let that go. Like, I'm just gonna take advice from people that know more than me.
Yeah.
That's a moment that you get to in life where you realize, like, you don't have to do everything on your own. You will never be an expert in everything. You don't need to. And if you try to, you're probably gonna fail, because there are people who are experts in certain fields that will help you, but you have to know who to ask for help and when to ask for help, and know that there is no shame in asking for help.
Right.
Like if you need to go to the doctor, you go to the doctor for help. If there's something wrong with your tooth, you go to the dentist. Like there are people that are subject matter experts in certain fields that you go to for help. And it is no different in this business either. And as we all go through navigating the constant changes with tech and everything else that's happening that affects everything that we do, we're kind of all leaning on each other in a lot of ways too. Yeah. So because the game is always changing.
It's hard for me to see what happened at Fox and not really ask the question of, do you think that there was some type of racial implications for a lot of let-goes?
I think we will see. We will see. I think that the public reaction certainly would reflect that. I don't know exactly what's going to play out within, the cancellation, so I can't speak exactly to what their plans are. So I think it's premature for me to speak on that now. But I do think, like with anything, actions speak louder than words, so we will see.
Well, this is what I see. I see African-American talent being let go.
That is true.
And I'm seeing murmurs of where are you going from here? And it's Caucasian advances. That's what I see. I don't know. This is just me looking from the outside in, but I'm like, dang.
We have the same eyes.
All y'all niggas, where y'all going? Hold on, where y'all usually don't.
We have the same eyes.
Y'all don't be at the bar at this day, it's a Tuesday. The club going up.
There were 3 shows cut. So, like I said, I think actions speak louder than words. We'll see what happens.
Joy. Joy, 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 joy. Okay. I'm not talking about you right now, right? Mm-hmm. I'm talking about, are we holding athletes to an unrealistic expectations that we're not holding everybody else? Professional
sports, and let's put college sports in this because obviously we cover college as well, is about competition. And it's in a lot of ways, a zero-sum game, right? Wins, losses, championships, MVPs. We have these markers for what measures success, the reasons why we play, the reasons why we compete. Obviously, when you're a professional athlete, you're playing for money as well. It's your job. But the allure of sports, the allure of competition from the fans, from media, from owners, from people who, are consuming this product is the purity of competition, the wins and the losses. So are we holding athletes to different standards? Yeah, of course. Because, if you don't hit a certain quota, if you don't hit a certain rating, it doesn't necessarily mean you're like winning or losing. Yes, someone is ahead of you, but there's no like championship for having the number 1 show. Because next week you could have the 3rd rated show or the 4th. And then, there's a election. So you slide down to 15 and then you go back up. But that's not the same thing. If you're, selling a product, maybe you're the number 1 salesperson in the country. Yeah. But does it really make a difference if you're number 1 or number 3? No. But no one's showing up to the sales meetings with your jerseys on. They are at the stadium. So sports is just, it's a microcosm of society, of course, but you're in a different arena, like literally.
Okay, so I'll put it this way, and to protect names, a top jersey sale person in any of the 5 major sports is held to a higher standard than leaders in this country.
Oh, yeah, of course, it's absurd. Yes.
Not only that, but also of Fortune 500 companies.
Agreed.
And that's what needs to be said. Not this, that, and the third. It's like, yo, this person is a basketball player, for Christ's sake. He comes from The slump, doesn't matter how much money is in his bank account, it's where does he come from? You're holding him to a standard that if he makes a mistake, which we are humans and we will make a mistake, he has to be forced to put his feet to the fire and answer a question. But for a business executive, it's not held to that same standard.
No, and it's life is not fair.
So when we're having, rewind, back to the conversation is of, hey, Ken, what are you going to say? Don't ask me that question, respectfully, because that's what I will say. It's sad that we hold athletes to a standard that we don't even hold ourselves.
But are you saying this from a personal standpoint, from a legal standpoint, or from a competition standpoint?
I'm saying this from a personal standpoint.
Okay, personally, I completely agree. I think it's crazy. We put athletes into a space. Well, first of all, most athletes are very young when they start their careers. Like with the spectrum of what is an old person. You're not an old person, but you age very quickly in sports. It's a young man, young woman's game.
Yeah.
So you're coming in extremely young into situations you are completely unfamiliar with expectations through the roof, and you're supposed to manage all of these things, be a professional in all these spaces that you haven't been in before.
For sure.
And then perform at the highest level and never make any mistakes,
Right.
personally. Never make a misstep. And if you do make a misstep, it is something that is a reflection of how serious you take your job,
Right.
or how serious you take yourself. When in fact, most of us at 21, 22, we're not making the best decisions. And we had...
At 31, at 41, we're not
Exactly.
making the best decisions.
Yes. And we did not have all the eyeballs, attention, and demands on us that athletes do. Yeah, I mean, it's not a fair exchange. And when we're talking about business leaders or politicians, I mean, that's a whole separate conversation. I think that the bar is in hell for what we expect from our leaders at this point. I mean, it's a circus.
This is an ad by BetterHelp. Let's keep it real. Everybody's carrying something. Pressure to perform, to provide, and to keep smiling through it all. But you can't keep that bottled up. That weight gets heavier if you never let it out. Therapy isn't just for when you hit rock bottom. It can help you build better habits, set boundaries, deal with stress, or just understand yourself a little better. BetterHelp makes it easy to start. It's entirely online, designed to fit into your schedule. Talk it out with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/funky today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/funky. We put our athletes in this position where it's like, okay, I'm not an opponent of DUI. Definitely not an opponent of domestic violence. I'm not an opponent of gang violence. I'm not an opponent of partying rambunctiously. I'm not an opponent of not being in control of your environment. But those things happen.
They do.
And it's wild. We can move on. You mentioned not being a young girl's or young man's sport. Potentially, the murmurs, back to that word, of Kay Adams potentially replacing you, who was already up under that slate. So when you got a person at the bar and you're like, hold on, hey, what y'all doing here? Then you start looking on, it's like, hold on, where they going with this? Him? Her? How does that make you feel?
I'm a fan of Kay's. I don't know what the network is going to do. I don't work there. And I got to be honest, I think that there is plenty of space in the business for everybody. And I know that sounds like a very cliche scapegoat answer, but it's really how I feel. What's meant for me will always be for me. And if that's the direction that they want to go in, then I think they should do that. And I hope she does well. I enjoy her content. I don't think it has anything to do with me. What someone else's success is or how someone else shines does not dim anything that I'm doing. So I don't really think anything of it. It's not in my control. And it's not up to me what anything or anyone is going to do that is at the network or anywhere else. All I can control is what I can control and what I'm going to do. So, I don't look at one woman getting a job or my show getting canceled and someone else getting hired as something that I should feel some type of way about. It's just, I don't look at the world that way. I've had an incredible amount of success in this business. I've worked with the biggest names in the business. I've done network television for 9 years. I'm one of the only women, and certainly one of the only Black women, to work on a daily show as an opinionist equal to the men, not just in a specific role, which I've also worked in. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Of course, I'm saying that there is a difference. I've established my voice in this business as an opinionist, as someone who has a point of view, as someone who is educated, as someone who has put in the work. Whatever anyone believes about how I got here or why I got here or what happens, that doesn't erase my resume and what I've done. So I don't feel anything about any of it. I mean, it's the journey.
Yeah.
I've worked other places. I've had different jobs. I've had a lot of experiences in LA over the last 9 years. Some have been great. Some have been chaotic. Some have been sad. I've gone through a lot of personal things. And in the end, I know I will look back on this chapter as a very significant chapter of my life. It was 9 years of my life that I spent in LA at Fox. A lot of things happened. And I'm grateful for the highs, and in some ways I'm grateful for the lows. I know I don't feel all of it right now, but I will one day. And I think my competition is only with myself.
There's no denying over the last 4 months, right? You've been through a lot, right? How have you been holding up? Like, been taking care of yourself? Like, what is something that, where are you at mentally, emotionally? Like,
I'm much better now than I was, obviously, at the beginning of the year. It's been a unique experience for me in my life. I've been through a lot of shit in my life, but this one was different. There was definitely some moments where it was very, very dark for me. Mm-hmm. But I've leaned on the people in my life that I know have my back, that I know trust and love me, and that I can trust. Therapy, some medication, working out a lot, really being disciplined about taking care of my body, and drowning out the noise. I don't think it's really positive to consume everything negative that people have to say about you. When everything happened, I didn't read a comment. I didn't watch a video. I didn't watch a show. I didn't read an article. I completely blacked out all of the noise and leaned into, focusing on being present and seeing who was really there for me. And look, it's not something I recommend going through. 0 out of 10, unsubscribe. But, I think I thought a lot over the past couple months about like what I really want, what I want for myself, what I want for my career. Because I've really accomplished what I set out to do when I started in this business. Like, my goal was to do a daily opinion show where my voice mattered as much as the men at the table. And I was able to do that at the highest level, at the network level. When all this happened, it was a good reminder that sometimes your goals in life can change. And the things that matter the most are not just your career or what people think of you. And you have to really lean on who you are, like what you are inside. And people that have known you through different chapters of your life, what they feel about you. Yeah. Because sometimes we get into these like hamster wheels of like, what's next, what's next, what's next? And something in the universe will stop you, whether it's negative or positive, to remind you that, you only get one of these and you should appreciate all of it, because things change very quickly. So it's been a very, very tough year for me personally. And it's also been a learning year, a shedding year, a year where I learned to protect myself emotionally, to kind of pay attention to different energies when they enter my space. Like, nah, I don't know about this. You know, you've been around a long time, but, you know, you kind of move funny here. Maybe we'll slide this out a little bit and make some adjustments. But, you know, I've been through a lot in my life. I've had a lot of traumas. A lot of people do much worse things to me. And I think that this was a moment that really quieted my spirit. And it definitely broke me in a lot of ways, but I'll be a different person. I'll never be the same. I know that for sure. How I'll be different, I don't know yet. It's too soon. It's too raw. And there's still too much happening to know that. But I hope that I hold on to the best parts of myself, because it's really hard to do. It is.
Do you think sports media is fair to women when conflict or controversy happens behind the scenes?
No.
Explain.
No, I don't. Well, first of all, I don't believe in fair. I don't think that anything in life is fair. Like, you know, it's just life is not fair. It's not fair that some people are, you know, born 6'5" and can run a 4'3". Like, that's not fair. It's just the way it is. And some people are born places where they don't have access to anything. Like, nothing in life is fair. So I say that all the time when it comes to sports and on air. So I'll say it with everything else. There are things we can do to make things more equitable. And there are adjustments we can make in society to protect people. So I'm not dismissing any of it, but, you know, it's still a very misogynistic space. I mean, if you ever are confused about that, you can go read any comment on any social media platform I have. You'll get your daily dosage of it. And entering as a woman into this space, it's just a reality that you're going to be viewed differently. You're going to be judged differently. Anything that comes out about you is going to be permanent, whether it is true or it is not true. It is not going to be dismissed, or, you know, people are going to just assume that it is true. They're going to apply it to your character. If you make a mistake, I mean, you cannot make a mistake on air as a woman. You just cannot. You can't say someone got traded when they got cut. You can't mispronounce someone's name. Like, you have to be perfect in that way. And if you're talking about being a Black woman, you're also dealing with a huge element of racism that, you know, it just is what it is. Like, we can move on from the conversation that there isn't any racism anymore. It obviously still exists. Yeah. There's obviously still sexism. There's obviously classism, there's colorism, there's every isms that you can imagine. And we're seeing all of it now in how people speak to each other, particularly on the internet, but in daily life now because of what's happening with this current regime. Like, everybody is coming out with all of their biases and all of their, you know, their criticisms. Yeah. So, no, they're not fair to women in sports. It's not limited to just me. I see it all the time. I see it with any kind of different thing that happens to women in sports. But, you know, I hope that as things start to expand, as sports starts to grow, as there's more opportunities in sports, more jobs, that we're seeing more diversity, that eventually we'll move away from that.
Do you think you're plagued by you being a pretty woman?
Plagued is such an interesting word. I think everything in life has a cost. Everything in life has a yin and yang to it, right? Like, there are a lot of benefits to being a pretty woman. And yes, I understand that everyone doesn't think I'm pretty. I get it. But
you are.
Thank you.
Let's be adults and
let's move on.
Like,
let's move on.
Come on.
There are definitely benefits to it. There are advantages in certain spaces to being a good-looking person. There are also disadvantages. People don't take you seriously. People assume that you sleep with everyone. People assume that if you're being nice to them, that you're trying to sleep with them. People try to sleep with you, and if you don't sleep with them, then they retaliate against you or talk bad about you because their egos are hurt. People think that you are too sexual when you're just showing up in your body wherever you go. People are assuming that you're only doing this job because you want to be famous or you want to be on television. There are all kinds of certain, you know, there are things. There's jealousies. There's you know, retaliation between situations. There's people who don't want to work with you because their wife might be jealous, even though you have nothing to do with them. Like, there's all sorts of things that come with it. but there are benefits as well. And, being someone who is on camera, generally, people who are on camera at certain spaces tend to present themselves like they should be on camera. I don't think that's like a secret. It's in a visually aesthetic platform.
No, for sure.
But, you have to take the good with the bad. I'm not going to sit here and like play victim, but there are things that you experience as in a pretty privileged space that are negative. There's a dark side to it, and that's just the reality.
Something that you said early on to this point is like, we want you to be animated like a cheerleader.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, I've never heard that, but I understand.
No one's ever told you to bring cheerleader energy, Cam?
No. Me? No. I was been told, give the cheerleader something to cheer about. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, it's like, when you hear things like that, when it's, in some industries, that could be sexual harassment. It could be like, wait, what? Would you tell my colleague
no.
the same thing?
No one would tell you to act like a cheerleader now.
You feel me? It's so for you to be in this place or be in this space in media where, like you said, the yin and yang, there's pretty privilege and then there's pretty plague. You feel me? And it's like navigating through it all. Mm-hmm. Because I think one thing that's undeniable is you are a pioneer, right? When I think about, you, Molly, Monica, Elle, and, the Doris Burks, you're like, you guys are some bad chicks that really know your stuff. And there's often times for me where me being the jock, it's not what I say, it's how I say it. And I've been heavily critiqued about that. But understand, too, where I ask for grace from people is like, it's not even really what I say, it's really what my intentions are. Mm-hmm. When I see you and who you are, I'm reminded of my daughters, right? Growing up in a house full of a very alpha household where you can hear them downstairs in the jungle, as I call the playroom, and you hear, a bunch of bamming and bum, 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 and this, and here was my daughter coming upstairs, and Daddy, and she's kissing and she's hugging, and then she falls and I'm kissing her knee. Then my boys come upstairs and they fall and their knee gets cut. It's like, boy, get up. You know what I'm saying? With those things, how or what message would you tell the younger women about navigating in a very male-dominated industry?
Well, I think the first thing that you have to do is earn the respect of your colleagues. You have to be perfect, like I said. You're not going to get the opportunity to, be late. You're not going to get the opportunity to make a big mistake. You're not going to get that kind of grace as a woman in the business. But earning the respect of your colleagues is important because, I believe in what I say because I've researched it, because I have a point of view, because I know if I say something and you confront me about it, I can say, well, Cam, I said this because, this statistic said this and I watched it and, you did miss this. And I'm not going to insult you as a person,
right,
but it is my job to talk about sports.
Right.
But you should be able to stand in what you say. And as a woman, I did not play professional football, obviously, but neither did most of the men in the business.
Sure.
But the difference is when men are watching other men talk about what other men do, they aren't saying, why are you talking about this? Because they see themselves in these men. They don't see themselves in me. They don't see themselves in women. So there's this automatic, if they are a biased person, there's this automatic stoppage of, well, why is she talking about this? But they can see a man sitting right next to me who also didn't play professional sports and not feel that way, not get that response. So it's important that there is a big audience of people consuming sports who feel that way. Whether it is right or wrong, we're not changing that today.
Yeah.
So you have to present in a way that you are intelligent, that you're researched, that you're strong in your conviction about why you feel this way. For me, it's also having the permanent remembrance that we are talking about human beings. Yeah. There's no need to insult anybody. There's no need to take it to a place that's unnecessary, that's disrespectful, because then you're putting yourself up for your own criticism in a way that is unnecessary. So I really think that being researched and being strong in your point of view is important. Being perfect is important. You just have to be. You have to be the first one in. You have to be the last one out. You have to take the extra shifts. You have to, prove yourself at every single level I'm still proving myself. I've been in the business since 2007. There's still people that think I have not proven myself in this business. And that's fine. I'll continue to do so. That is what it is. The most important thing is, and this really goes for anyone, but especially for women, show up as yourself. You have a specific point of view because you are a woman, because you've had different experiences than the other people in the room, because you've been through things that other people haven't gone through, and you see the world differently. So don't try to assimilate to what people want you to be. Like, the magic and the power that you have is who you are. Yeah.
Most questions that I have are just flowing, and that's just the good energy that you're bringing. Also with just, I like where we at right now. But did your confidence take a hit in regards to like the way you presented yourself?
No.
You know what I'm saying?
If anything, I feel like people that know me well were like, oh, Joy can talk her shit now.
No, for sure.
Joy can be herself. Joy's freed from these corporate shackles. Because if people think that little of you, like, all right, well.
You're talking about now or going through what you went through?
No, going through what I went through.
So you're talking now.
Yes.
You feel
now. I mean, at every point in my career, my voice has grown. Right, your confidence grows when you start. You're an intern. You don't even know how you want to say things. Like I had the same. Believe me, when I started in the business, if you told me I will offer you this job to host a network show, I'll be like, yeah, I could do that. I could not do that. Could not do that.
Yeah,
I believed I could
ready.
do it.
Yeah.
But I was not ready. But through everything that you go through and through every experience that you have, your voice grows. And now I feel like. I mean, fuck it.
Yeah.
What else is there?
I've been there. No, like I've been living in that for a long time.
As you should.
But it also comes with its arrows.
Well,
just prefacing that.
But it does come with arrows, but so does the other side.
Thank you, Jesus. Because what you gotta choose your pain. Do you want to have internal pain with yourself where it's like this is really not me, or you have pain for trying to ascribe to a person that you're really not?
And it's not always that it's not necessarily you, but there are very few spaces where you can truly show up as yourself and truly shine and not feel like you have to make yourself small.
Yeah.
And when you make your own space, you can really do that, especially when people are supporting you doing that. But it's scary, especially for, young people when you're starting out, or even people who haven't been in this space, to just step out into it. Because, everyone is not going to be nice to you. They're not. Everyone is not going to like your shit. Everyone is not going to like you. Yeah. Everyone's not going to like your delivery. Everyone's not going to like your point of view. So fucking what? They shouldn't. Right. That's a privilege. You should not be palatable to everybody. There's very few things that need to be that. Yeah. And it shouldn't be individuals, especially creatives, which is what we are.
No, for sure.
If you're doing something that is unscripted, that is off the cuff, nobody is here feeding us what to say. Mm-hmm. You are generating creative energy, and it should be coming from the purest place that you can. And look, if people are mad about it, people are mad about something every day.
Man, I care about me more than I care about you, straight up. That's how I feel. I walk in that. And it's like, I don't go into no room drooping my shoulders. I don't go into no room whispering or, now granted, I am very emotionally intelligent. I'm very aware. We have this term that we use on fourth. I have to find the mic in every situation. I have to see if those safeties is rolling down. I have to see if like, yo, can I use nigga in this room? Or can I use Negro in this room? Or can I use brother in this room? Or can I use my man in this room?
Buddy.
But my guy, my killer, hey, my boy, you know, and the reality is there are some times where that's a superpower.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be able to read the room, especially if you're, you know, a business person, you're somebody who's navigating in different spaces. That I don't think is not being authentic. That's just being strategic. That's just the world.
For sure.
But when you are sharing your like thoughts and passions and feelings and thoughts, it should come from an authentic place. But I'm also a very private person. So no matter what, there's always going to be parts of me that I don't share because I don't want to. And like you said, I care more about me than I care about you. And that's always going to be the case.
No, for sure.
And, you know, I'm even more aware and heightened to my energy being fucked with, my spirit being fucked with. If I don't feel comfortable, if I don't like what's happening, I will protect myself because I'm all I got. And if I'm not in the right space or if I'm putting myself in danger for other people, that just is like a crazy concept to me.
Yeah. Last thing on this topic, what's the thing that you'll miss most about FS1?
I will definitely miss Keyshawn and Paul every day. We had a really great time on that show. It was, I mean, I've had a great experience on all the shows that I've worked on, but that was a real, like, hang. You know, we were playing music in the breaks. It was easy. We all felt, I mean, they obviously, like, have known each other a long time, but we all felt like we've known each other a long time. The staff was really comfortable and fun and great. And it was really, like, a good experience every day. It was good for my nervous system to be around that group of people with the staff and Key and Paul and Michael too, Michael Irvin. So I will miss being around them every day. They were unbelievable to work with, and I love them dearly. And yeah, I mean, my career is not over, so
no, it's
I'm
not.
gonna keep doing what I'm doing, but I definitely will miss working with them for sure.
Man, listen, shout out to my dog, Brandon Marshall, right? And he has this, he'll just text me out the blue and say, stay in that pocket and lean in. And I'll tell you the same thing, Joy Taylor, stay in your pocket and lean in.
Can I tell you a story before we move on
Talk to
from
me.
FS1? You are the reason that I worked at FS1.
What?
I'm gonna tell you why. So when I went out to audition for the show, which at the time that me and Nick Wright got hired at the same time at Fox, they were hiring for a bunch of different shows. They were bringing in talent, interviewing a bunch of people. So I did a panel test show, and we were talking about you. And we were talking about...
That should be interesting.
I don't know if you remember this, but a little old woman wrote into, I think the Charlotte Observer or something, and was complaining about your personal choices.
That was, no, that was Nashville. That was the Tennessean.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes. But do you remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the celebration is like he was thrusting himself.
No. This was about you not marrying your, at the time, your partner.
Oh, my baby mother.
Yes.
Okay.
Why this was a topic, I don't know. But I was the only woman at this test shoot, and we're talking about, you know, you, like why you wouldn't marry her or something, and there's something about, everyone kept saying out of wedlock. And it got to me, and I was like, why are we using the term out of wedlock, first of all? That is a crazy, outdated, weird term, considering people at this table have children out of wedlock. Also, what the fuck does this have to do with how he plays football or what kind of leader he is or how he's performing on the field? It's just strange to me that this would even be a story or something that we are using to apply to someone's character at this point. Like, I think we've moved past this, but I was a little more passionate and, dramatic about my take, but it was so impressive that is why I got hired. They were like,
there you go.
You stuck out from the group, and it was a very interesting point of view, which I thought was the only point of view to have, because what the fuck are we talking about out of wedlock for? Right. But yeah, you are the reason that I got hired there.
Well, if you need help with your career, talk about Cam. That's
Contrary to popular belief on the internet, that is the reason why.
People will have a field day with that response. I can hear the comments now. Yeah, but he still ain't married. Yeah, but there's people who are married that ain't happy.
I did not think that your personal choices about your children and your partner had anything to do with your
Which goes
football
back
skills,
to what I'm saying. Are we putting athletes too high on the totem pole of the pecking order as idols and role models?
I don't think you get to choose if you're a role model or not. Because for a long time, I didn't think of myself as that way. And as I've gotten older and as I've moved through the business, I realize that whether, I want to or not, and sometimes it doesn't feel like it's appropriate for you to choose, people are watching you. Young people are watching you. I don't think that that's your responsibility. I think you should live your life how you live your life. Because like you said, you care more about you than you care about anyone else. And you should. But it's just a matter of how much you care about the example that you're setting. And I go back and forth on that because part of me is like, I want to hold the door open for the next generation. It's important to me to do that. I'm actively and have been for years involved in bringing other people into the space and having seats at the table for other people.
Right.
And I'm not even going to get into my resume precedes itself when it comes to that. But there's also a part of me that is solely planted in, I'm gonna do what I was sent here to do. And everyone shouldn't try to do that. Like, everyone shouldn't try to be you. They should learn things from you, both positive and negative.
For sure.
And when we put people in these role model spaces, we tend to idolize them and romanticize them as these perfect figures. And we don't allow the space for humanity and mistakes. And everyone makes mistakes. All of us do. And it is a very cliche thing to say, but when we're talking about people that we look up to, when we're talking about athletes, when we're talking about celebrities or media members, presidents, whatever, we have to look at them as human beings. Certain people should be held to different standards. The President of the United States should be held to a different standard than you and I, because he has more responsibility to everyone than you and I do. But in the spaces that we're in, we have a responsibility to ourselves and to the people that we care about. And I think that's the best we can do. When we're talking about athletes and what we want from them as role models, I think we get a little carried away with, oh, well, what does it mean for the kids? Like, you decided to have kids.
For sure.
I don't have children. Now, I care about the children that are my responsibility. My nieces and nephews, I care about them. I care about my, friends' children, but it's still not my job to raise them. And I actually firmly believe that people should see people make mistakes and come back from them. I think people should see humanity. They should see the rough edges and how people recover from that, because that is life. Every day you have to make decisions and make adjustments. Right. And I don't like selling the idea to young people that everything's going to be smooth sailing, because it's not.
It's not. Man, look, that's beautifully said, and I will second that. I never wanted to be the poster child of whatever. I wanted to be authentic to me. Like, if something were to happen to me, we're living in a day and age now where more people will click, see, I told you, rather than, that's what he doing? That's what's up. You see what I'm saying? It's like, where I'm at now with it is just this comfort of understanding, like, bro, like, be real. Be authentically you in a way where the world doesn't need another Cam Newton. The world needs you to be who you are by learning from what Cam did. I pride myself on being able to say I did everything at a high level. And I take this media the same way. It's going to be done, and it's being done at a high level. This is not no ring light setup situation where you just come in and did boom, boom. Like, no. So when I study, this wave of what's going on, people who succeed, they take it extremely serious. But that's not to say, to your point, that it's not going to make, or they're not going to make mistakes.
No, but you make mistakes.
Yeah.
You learn from mistakes. If everything was just easy, I mean, think about like the traumas and the lows in your life. Mm-hmm. Think about the times that you were sad or upset. You can think of a moment right now, just pop, like, I didn't have to prompt you on anything. I don't know what you're thinking about, but it affects you.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not right, but the things that hurt us tend to stick out more than the easy times.
Yeah.
Now, maybe we all need to adjust to that in life and appreciate the good times, but it's like when things are going good, you expect them to eventually go bad. When things are going bad, it feels like it's going to be bad forever. And it's not. Everything is temporary. But if you make mistakes and you choose to apply the lesson that the universe was sending you in that space, then you're going to be better. It's like when people, I'm sure you've gotten this question about, like, how do you handle rejection, or how do you handle no's? How do you handle people or things not going your way? How do you handle losses? It should be the same way that you handle wins, which is in stride. You should appreciate what's happening for the reason that it's happening. And if it's meant to be to teach you a lesson, or to tell you, you know what, I need to be in the gym a little bit more. I didn't have success in this game because I was tight and I didn't stretch before because I was being lazy. I need to learn to not do that. I need to apply myself there. I didn't do such a good show today because I really wasn't that prepared. Okay, I'm not going to make that mistake again. Those things are important. And I think for young people, especially because the internet, people do not post their losses. So when things go badly, it feels like so dramatic, and everybody else is winning. People don't post their losses, but the losses are important. That's what gives you character. That's what makes you funny.
Yeah.
That's what makes you be able to navigate through life and not fall apart.
Yeah. Now, this was an interesting fact that I found. Well, it's not.
Oh boy.
No, it's a list of them. Trust me. But growing up in Pittsburgh, what was that like?
Well, Pittsburgh it's a sports town. Yeah. It's a blue collar sports town. I'm grateful to have grown up there. It was, my childhood was a very dark experience, but for me, the things that stick out that are light were sports. I played sports growing up. It was a way for me to get out of the house, play basketball, soccer, volleyball, track. Obviously, I grew up in a football family, so being at football games is a big part of my childhood and my memories. Mm-hmm. But Pittsburgh is a place where you learn about hard work and you learn about football.
Yeah. Did you have any identity issues being biracial?
No. My father made it very clear to me at a very young age what I was and what I was not. And, I grew up, Pittsburgh is well, at least now, when I grew up, I don't know what it is now. I obviously haven't lived there in a long time, but, it was class. You grew up in a neighborhood based off of how much money you had, not off of
that's not just Pittsburgh.
Not off of what you look like.
Yeah.
So it wasn't segregated in that way when I grew up. So I grew up around a bunch of different people. And at the time that I grew up, it was just you're black, you're white, you're Italian, you're, Lebanese, whatever. And it wasn't, it was but we're all the same. We all have this much money.
Yeah.
So yeah, I grew up with my grandfather, being very involved in my life from Mobile, Alabama. He lived in Detroit, Michigan, was in the Army for 30 years. So he was very influential in my childhood, and I spent a lot of time in Detroit with him as well. So yeah, I didn't really have any issues with that.
What are you? Let's just go with that. Right.
I love that question.
Like, straight up.
My mother is what is she? She's Scottish, English, Irish, and my father's Black. Yeah, just a basic American girl.
Far from basic. Your brother, which I don't think a lot of people knew, is Jason Taylor.
He is.
Right? And obviously an NFL legend. I actually played against him my rookie year. Actually, my first start.
Did he get you?
Yes. And that was when Miami had the baseball field. Too.
Oh, awful.
Terrible. That was so it was preseason game, and leading up into that week, I remember Coach Ron came to my dorm, and it was semi-awkward because Jimmy Clausen, who was the starter, was also my roommate. And, you know, he comes in and said, "Hey, Jimmy, hey, can you leave the room real quick?" I was like, oh, my God. And I have PTSD anytime somebody talks to me because I was the bad kid. You know, not bad because I was the mischievous lick type of dude. Like, why did you do this? Like, this got Can written all over it. The, you know, class clown that. So anytime isolated conversations of, you know, seniority, it was just like, hold on, what's going on?
Yeah, your anxiety kicked up.
Oh, my goodness. He said, "Hey, kiddo, we're thinking about starting you this week." I said, "What?" Like, real emotion. Like, what? He's like, "You ready?" I was like, I want to play early, but I didn't even want to. He said, no. You're built for this. You're ready for this. And I'm like, all right. You've been seeing what I've been seeing in practice, you know, because my confidence wasn't there yet.
Yeah.
And then coming off of a holdout or the lockout, I was like, bro, I don't got the reps that I need. In that game, Zach Thomas and your brother were there. And I'm like, yo, this is
that's a tough first game.
Spooky. Spooky. Rashad Jones, shout out to my dog, you know, from Atlanta. It was just so much, and that's what I remember. But, you know, your brother being an NFL legend, what did having a pro athlete in the family teach you early on?
Well, I feel really grateful to have watched all of his career, like from high school through college, obviously not being a highly talented college player, playing at Akron, going the third round, so kind of having to make the team, to then obviously becoming the player that he was, and then the journey, which included, you know, getting traded, getting cut, having kids, you know, moving through different coaches, different quarterbacks, the media, and then, you know, him deciding to retire and then eventually making the Hall of Fame. I feel like I had a front row seat to what the professional experience is, like what the journey entails.
Yeah.
And from a perspective of how most players enter the league, because, you know, everyone's not a number one overall pick. Everyone's not going to come into the situation knowing what their future is in professional sports. And we talk about this a lot in college sports, and especially even more so maybe now, that everybody is not going to make it to the league. And even if they do, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to make it in the league.
No, for sure.
So to be able to see his journey, what it took emotionally, what it took physically, mentally, the support that you need around you, not just from your family, but also your friends, from your team, from, you know, your personal agents and assistants and all of that, to really have success. I feel really grateful that I've been able to see that. And I think it's affected my career, my point of view on sports and when I do shows, because like I said earlier, like, we are talking about human beings. I know what it's like to see a player go through getting traded and moving your family and having to find a place to live and figuring out how to get to the stadium and figuring out what, you know, how you're going to interact with the new training staff. And there's so many different things that go into it from a human perspective. So, and we minimize all of that because it's, you know, that's not the sexy stuff. It's so-and-so got traded and they're not performing well.
Figure it out.
Yeah. But there's so many other things that go into that. And, you know, getting cut, having to decide to retire. How do you transition into retirement? What do you do? How do you handle not being the man walking out into the arena and having the cheers anymore? How do you replace that adrenaline? Do you need to replace that adrenaline? Like, there's so many different things that I've been able to experience from, watching his career, that I'm just really grateful for. And it's definitely given me a perspective on.
What's the age gap?
He is 12 years older than me.
Wow. It's crazy because this happened last night, right? And just for perspective, you're talking about leaning into media. Yesterday, for me, shot 2 shows, right? And our shows, being an independently owned production company, you lean heavily on your support system.
Right.
You also want to respect people's time, effort, and energy. That's the back office, behind the scenes thing. But each show typically runs at minimum 2.5 hours. I shot 2 of those yesterday, right? And as we're talking, I'm looking at the clock, we already been talking for 1 hour and 50. And from there, I go work out, which is a whole different content plan. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then from working out, getting home at 10 p.m., I do more content on Twitch, right? The point is, while I was on Twitch and I'm approaching like 1 a.m., 2 a.m., Mafia the chat, you know what I'm saying, for folks who follow me on Twitch. There's a young man who put in the comments, he was like, hey, bro, give me some advice about transitioning into the real world as an athlete. And my engagement with my audience, I call, my community the Mafia, right? Bug Mafia. And I always ask the question, what's the question of the night? You know what I'm saying? Just a strategy, whatever. But that stuck out to me because when I heard or seen the question, the first thing I thought about is you have to master your routine. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And it's really not even an athlete thing. It's a human thing because most individuals, and I will tell you this too, going through your transition, that routine of what you've learned, you will be a fool if you don't learn the importance of that. There was never a show that y'all had that you didn't have that you had a pre-production call.
Correct.
And that's the same thing about if you're going into a meeting, you need to prepare for it, right? And then it also comes down to performance. Well, as I was talking to the young man last night in front of thousands of people watching, and it's like, yo, bro, like it's a real issue that we have, and it's a part of your evolution. And it's almost going back to wanting to swim. It's not saying that you can swim or you can swim at Michael Phelps. It's like having the desire to say, hey, I got to change. I want to get to this particular point. Oftentimes, people don't give enough credit that it's going to hurt, but it's worth it though. So when you're talking about your brother and you're talking about certain things as an athlete that, yeah, people get so blinded by the money. Mm-hmm. And do we make a lot of money? Absolutely. Do we know if this is going to be the last time we make this amount of money? Who knows? But when you go and you've witnessed so much, you have to imply routine in that. And if you do that, that's when you start seeing real results. You are what you habitually do. Two people taught me a whole lot about routine. Skip Bayless and Colin Cowherd. Not ironically, 2 of the biggest names in the business. For sure. So when we launched Undisputed, Skip has, he would post on his social media, his notorious morning routine. Yeah. Get up at 2 a.m, inexplicably, run, I think he ran like 5 miles or something on his treadmill, read the newspaper, whatever he did. Like he did the same thing every day. Steve Jobs, notoriously, same routine every single day. Colin does the same thing when he comes in every single day. Same meeting, same process. He's got his notes that are just scribbles. I couldn't read them if my life depended on it. But they do the same thing every day. And part of being able to do Undisputed, which I had to get up at 3:20 in the morning to do. LA time? Yes.
3:20 in the morning for a 6:30 show, was having a routine. Have to be in bed at 9 p.m. Doesn't matter if the girls are going out for dinner. Doesn't matter if somebody's in town. Doesn't matter if you got a show you want to watch. Have to be in bed at 9 p.m. Not getting in bed, like covers are up at 9 p.m. Set both alarm clocks in case something goes off. Those type of routines, one, help minimize creative decisions for things you don't need to worry about. You park in the same parking spot. You wear sweatpants in the morning because you're going to get wardrobe. You don't need to worry about what you're going to eat every day. You're eating the same thing every day. You have the same coffee order every day. Those things are important, but when your reason for routine changes, like you're no longer playing sports, or your show has changed, or any kind of disruption to your life, you have to stay in routine. You have to find a new routine. But routine is about success. You ever see Homecoming with Beyonce?
Yes.
The
Netflix special.
Yes, the Netflix special. Now, we all know Beyonce is Beyonce, right? Sure. Like, she's one of one. But that special was fascinating to me. And I love studying greats, because one thing that greats do, which is what you said, they do the same thing every day in order to get incrementally better. Mm-hmm. The focus that she had to go into that show to not eat sugar or like anything but like fish for a year to get into, I don't have that kind of discipline. You have to be disciplined. You have to do the same thing every day. You have to minimize unnecessary decisions. And when things change, like you retire from the NFL, right, or you change jobs, or you're in between jobs, or any of these different things, you have children now, you go through a divorce, whatever it is that changes in your life, you have to find your routine, and a positive one. And it's so important for your mental health. And it helps you be successful. Like, that is what the greats do. Yeah. Consistency.
Was media always a part of the plan for you?
So my freshman year of college, I actually went to school for psychology because I saw Gothica with Halle Berry and decided that I wanted to work in an asylum. And then I did my first year of school, and I went to my professor and was like, how long am I going to have to be in school in order for me to like be a doctor and be able to do this? And he said something like 12 years. And I was like, oh, no, it's not for me. It's not going to be, it's not going to be for me. I'm out that. I'm going to talk shit for a living instead. And I pivoted, which was the right choice. But when I was younger, I, did the like kid modeling thing, and we had one of those big VHS cameras, that you put like the whole VHS tape in. Yeah. And we would like record over the same VHS tape and make little newscasts and stuff. So I was always meant for it, and I always loved sports. But I also grew up around women who had really strong points of view about sports. And so I never felt like it was a weird thing to want to talk about sports.
So it's safe to say you saw Inception.
Yes.
Yeah. Mental asylum, like that was nuts. I think too, over this, I would say year, man, God has been working in my life in ways that, man, now looking back at it, being on this type of topic, it made me realize, like, yo, women are dope.
We are.
And it sounds like, duh, like we've been trying to tell you that. But like, when I look at my staff now, right, and the people who I work alongside with, especially with this IP of Funky Friday, Elytra, badass. John A, badass. Kristen Myers, bad to the bone. And I remember when Kristen called me, she's the president of Iconic Saga. I was so excited that first, like, yo, I accept the offer, but more or less transparently and vulnerable in this moment, it's like, I've never worked alongside with a woman hand to hand. I'm a football player. Women in the football dynamic is, we never saw cheerleaders. We never saw, even with the trainers, they wore large pants and oversized shirts. It was just that. You didn't know, and that's just what it was. So when I didn't know how to say certain things. Mm-hmm. So when certain things happen, it's not it's not what I say, it's the intent, and you get punished and ridiculed for it. You know, there was the thing about, I just found it extremely funny that a woman is talking about cover 2, right? And I apologize once again to Miss Rodriguez, you know, for that. And taking a step back from it, you realize, like, bro, that was a little misogynistic. But working alongside with these beautiful women, Black women, by the way, they teach me every single day. And having daughters, it's like, I grew up in a very male-dominated household. I had my grandmother, God rest her soul. My mother was there, angel on earth. And then my dad, his presence was just so, and I had two brothers. It was 3 of us. So I didn't know how to kind of like, come here, baby, like, let's talk. And it still haunts me today in my intimate relationships with my family, my partner, my children, not being able to verbalize what some would say is like, bro, if you look good, tell me I look good, but you know you look good. Hey, if I'm doing a good job, tell me I'm doing a good job. Well, do your job. You know what I'm saying? All those things, it's like, and working with an L, right? L Duncan, working with Molly. It's like, yo, these chicks is like really Monica, like, bro, the wordplay and being authentic, still being a beast, but holding up the beauty element. It was like, yo, bro, I appreciate God for kind of going through that with me. And there's often times where in your transition, if you don't catch it, you'll miss it. And for me, this is, you know, my kind of hat tip into all women to just be like, yo, bro, we need more of this. And it ain't, oh, bro, you're glazed. That's the word now. You're glazing, bro, you're doing this. It's like, no, like, we need different perspectives. We need, you know, why certain individuals see the game from this particular lens. And when that happens, the beauty comes in the kaleidoscope of opinion.
Well, that's diversity.
Yeah.
And there's, you know, a very strong push to get rid of diversity right now. But you having gone through that experience has, and I'm sure having daughters as well, has shown you the power of diversity. It's not about having people in the room for the sake of having people in the room, for checking a box. You have a wider range of perspectives. There's things that you have experienced as a man I cannot speak to. I will never experience them. I don't know what it feels like.
Right.
I cannot empathize with you. Now, if we have a conversation, I can sympathize with you because we can find a common ground where I can say, you know what, I haven't had that experience, but I've had this experience, and this is why I have this point of view on it. And we can be diametrically opposed, but because we talk, and you're not talking to another man who's had the exact same or very similar experience as you, you're learning and growing. And, you know, the glazing or the, what's the other word everybody uses now? Simping. Or are we out on simping now? Maybe I'm being an auntie right now. But, you know, the idea that because you are pro-women or because you enjoy the presence of women or you enjoy women's thoughts or, you know, the work that they put in or their perspectives, that you're somehow like diminishing yourself as a man is very confusing to me. Do you only want to be in the presence of men?
No, I prefer being
want
in like
men's
women's
thoughts?
presence. Yeah.
Well, it's not even just about a preference. It's like the very idea that women shouldn't be around men is very confusing to me. Who do you want to be around? Whose thoughts do you want? Whose presence do you want? Whose energy do you want around you? You should want women around you. You should want women around you. I think
for the diversity of opinion.
Or just because women are human beings.
No,
and like, why would you not want women around?
Yeah.
Like, why would you not want women around? And the whole idea that it is somehow dangerous or it's not helpful or like you're tapping into your feminine side or any of these things is just very bizarre. It's very bizarre to me.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of scary.
Why?
Well, in the first season of my podcast of Too Personal, we went viral because me and Taylor were saying that we didn't want to date men who didn't have female friends. And it was a very controversial topic. But
Say you didn't want to date?
I wouldn't want to date a man who did not have any female friends.
You did not want to date him?
No.
You want to date a guy who has female friends?
Correct.
Okay, go ahead.
Because why can't you be in the presence of a woman and it not be sexual? Why can't you have someone in your life who is a woman that you are interested in and that you care about in a non-sexual way? Okay. Why don't women want to be around you?
Yeah, no, it's not about that. And I'm glad you said that. Because that's a real thing.
It's real to me. Everyone doesn't feel that way.
No, I'm saying the real thing that a man cannot be around a female without any type of thought of sexual advances.
Or also find any value in women that don't either serve them, meaning that they work for them, or they're related to them, so that it's their mother, their aunt, their daughter, or someone that brings them any kind of sexual relationship, whether it's their partner or someone they're dating. Like, if they don't fall into one of those three categories, they don't have any use for them.
Yeah, but I'll explain why, though. Is because we are creatures of habit.
Men?
Yes.
Okay.
Or just in general.
Okay.
And when I think about, that's why I just told you the whole, within this last year with, the beautiful women that work, that are extremely talented. They didn't get hired or get the job because how they look. It's because what they are capable of doing and bringing to the table. I'll say that first and foremost. I think there's not enough conversations that's happening like that. But a lot of men would not honestly answer because of the fear that it will come off misogynistic or it will come off as sexist. But the reality of that is when you are in a very masculine environment, there's no women around. So the first inkling of a woman is, man, she look good. Golly, boy. Man, look at her lips. Oh, man. And you grow as the teenager in high school, and you start having these thoughts. And then you go into college, and it's like, people are throwing themselves at me, but I'm still ascending in my space. That's not to say that you have women around you because they keep them away. It's like, no. You have a sports complex where you see no woman until you do see a woman, it's in the dorm. And now to take your mind away from that, you lean on the intimacy. You lean on just the connection that you may have, right? And unknowingly, you're creating this layer of like, what's this is not right, right? So for me, I literally had to tap in and have people around me that does challenge. Hey, that's not right. No, that's not a normal thing. So you have to unlearn certain processes and be willing to acknowledge that that is not right. Now, for me, I can't speak about everybody, but
nothing is everything in all.
For sure. But it's those things that you always say, like, why wouldn't you want women around? It's like, because some men can't handle themselves.
And listen, some women cannot handle their men having women around. And I'm cool with all of it. Whatever is your business is your business.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with me.
For sure.
In my opinion, and because of the work that I do, and because of the friendships that I've made over my life, I have different people from all over the world around me all the time.
Yeah.
People that I care about deeply. I've relationships that have lasted over decades. I'm not looking at a human being for their value only sexually. And obviously, I'm a woman. Like I said, I'm not going to speak to what men do. But I prefer a man that can go into a room and see the value in another woman that doesn't have anything to do with her sexually. She's not related to her.
Right.
He can do business with women. Like, he can move around the world and conduct himself in a way that is disciplined.
Yeah.
That's important to me.
You have to gain that discipline. And that's the challenge to men. It's like, bro, it's tough. And it's going to take time.
You think it's tougher for men than it is for women?
I can't speak to women. That's what I cannot do. But I do know as a former athlete.
Well, I think, Cam, I think you might be, one thing I will challenge you on,
Talk.
okay? Just don't speak for the average man, because this has been happening a lot. You don't need to speak for the average man. You're different, so you can speak for you.
I always preface that, though.
Yeah.
I always preface it. For some reason, when they get caught by the blogs, it's just like they leave that part out.
Yeah. Like all guys should. No.
No, never heard me say all guys. I say I speak for most men in
your space. Yes.
Because it is tough when you're like, yo, she looking at me. She wants me. No, bro.
Well, yeah. But I mean, that circles back to like the pretty privileged.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Now, you've got a podcast.
I do.
And how is the freedom different from the traditional media?
Well, I mean, there's just a lot more allowed in this space than on, networks obviously have a lot of safeguards in place for people who are consuming it. You can't curse, you can't talk about certain things. But also I think when you're producing your own content and you can talk about whatever you want, you have a lot more room to explore conversations. You have room to explore topics that you wouldn't necessarily speak about on different shows. I mean, for me, I've always felt like it's important to respect the platform that you have.
Yeah.
And that's something that Colin taught me. He's very, very serious about doing a sports show, because that's what people are coming to him for.
Yeah.
Like, if you have a restaurant and you serve a certain type of food, you should probably stay in that lane and be consistent with it, and it should taste the same every single time they come.
Yeah.
So they keep coming back. And it's no different with content. You don't want to throw too much at the wall, because people aren't going to really know what they're coming to you for.
Yeah.
And when it comes to doing a sports show, I think it's important. There's stories that cross over. There's social activism. There's politics. Like, there's things that creep into sports, because sports is a microcosm of society, that we're going to talk about other things from time to time. But it's a sports show. So I don't really ever feel the need to force things into that space that don't belong, because that's not what people are coming here for. So having a podcast has really been able to give me the voice in spaces that people haven't seen me speak in before: politics, some social activism, relationships, cultural topics, music, whatever it may be. And I enjoy having that space and freedom, because I don't think it's appropriate to just force it into whatever platform you have.
Right. You spoke about Colin Cowherd. You spoke about Shannon Sharpe, and Skip Bayless, right? Major figures in that Fox space. First, what have you learned from them?
Their habits are important. Like we just talked about that. I definitely have learned that, if you want to do a consistently good show, then you need to be prepared, obviously. You need to find your own way to prepare. I think that's the biggest thing to learn as somebody who's entering into media, or a young person who's getting into the space, is how you prepare for a show is probably going to be very different than how someone else prepares for a show.
Yeah.
I like my notes super organized. I like them printed. I like them on paper in case something goes wrong. I want to make sure it's there. I'm going to go through. I'm going to add some extra notes on top of it. Like, I like it. I'm like this.
Yeah.
Other people, they're scribbling, they're circling, and they're, it's like a beautiful mind, and they're swishing their papers around, but that's what works for them. You have to find how you prep, and each of them prep so differently. Colin does a 2-hour prep show before every show. He's 2 hours before his 3-hour show. Skip, 5 minutes going over the rundown, and he's not talking to anybody before the show. Everybody is so different. So finding the way that you prepare and being consistent with that was something that I learned from everyone that I've worked with at a high level. It's also to be true to your personality, to be true to what you do. And to be able to be flexible in this business is super important. We talk about this with like aging coaches all the time, right? Like, have you adapted to the modern version of this game? And being able to change with the times, being able to adjust as things move, and they move quickly in this business. So those are definitely things that I've learned from them. And, just business-wise, how to conduct yourself, how to build other platforms, how to, put people around you that help you to be successful. But also, there's a chemistry that is established within a show that is so important. Like, Colin and I working through COVID was, I mean, we did a 3-hour show with no sports. Like we were off air for like a couple days. It was absolutely crazy. I blacked out. I don't remember what we talked about. Doing 3 hours a day, 5 days a week with no live sports was crazy. Then coming back in studio and having to navigate like getting tested for COVID every day and, talking about the George Floyd tragedy and the protests and like there's these moments where so much is happening and you have to be able to adjust. And I've learned so much from working with them.
Those are major figures that, obviously everybody pretty much knows about, but what about the unsung hero that were behind the scenes who either gave you your start, was your major lifeline that really put you on game? Who was your OG?
I would say Dan Le Batard was my OG. Yeah, I started in Miami. I went to school at Barry University in Miami, so I started in radio down there. DJ Laz, if you're familiar with the Miami area, was an OG of mine too. Both of them, gave me opportunities, still give me advice to this day.
Yeah.
Put me on game. I didn't really have a woman as an OG, but I was lucky enough and am lucky enough to have a great group of women friends who are my closest friends who've come up in the business with me to rely on and to bounce things off of and share with that have really propped me up. And that's helped me navigate the business. I would have lost my mind without them.
Now, from your seat, how would you describe the Skip and Shannon dynamic when the cameras were off?
So when I was on the show, which is all I can speak to, was that show was like the epitome of the debate format.
Yes.
When we launched the show, it was truly debate. So we would come in, we do the prep meeting. Shannon, you're going to go to Shannon first on this topic. Joy, you're going to tee up Skip on this topic. We have this guest at this time, stacking the show. In the breaks, everyone goes their separate ways. I'm checking my notes. Shannon's walking around, doing whatever he does, checking his notes, whatever. We're all doing our different things. But the animosity of the conversation ended once the block was over. Like next block to next block, there is no carryover. There's no you said this. Like it was a true debate format show.
For the red light, just when they were recording.
No. I mean, they were having authentic debates.
Yes.
But I'm saying there wasn't animosity, because I know that there's like this idea that, and I cannot speak to that. I wasn't on the show. When we launched the show, we were all over the country. We were doing live shows everywhere. They were excited to come together. We did a great show. I enjoyed every second of being on that show. It taught me a ton about doing live television, about being able to pivot, doing shows with crowds, doing shows at the Super Bowl and US Open and McGregor Mayweather and, bringing guests on and guests canceling and the prompter doesn't work and everything that you could possibly learn about doing, a 2.5 hour live television show in an intense format. But once the cameras were off, it was like, okay, we're on to the next block.
So there wasn't any animosity post-cut?
No.
Right.
Not when I was on the show.
Yeah. But when you witnessed the departure, seemingly, the thoughts that kind of go through.
Again, I hate speaking on things that I did not have proximity to.
Yeah.
What I will say about those type of shows is, and we've sort of gotten away from that, pure debate, like one-on-one format show. Like most shows are panels now.
It's talent though. It's heavily like Shannon really held his own. Skip was obviously a person that
for sure. And Shannon grew immensely in that show. I mean, we did that show for a long time. Look, nothing lasts forever. It doesn't. People wear of each other, friends break up, shows get canceled, networks shut down. The idea that everything is going to have this happy ending is, it's a fantasy. It's not how most things work. I can't speak to exactly what happened between the two of them or how it all broke down and disintegrated. I think that when you're doing an intense show where you're essentially arguing with each other, you have to maintain a level of it's like a boxing match, right? Like at the end, you hug, you shake hands, you have a respect for your opponent. And that has to be maintained.
But do you think a line was crossed?
I think that, yes, I think you have to maintain respect for your co-host. Like for me, you never question your co-host's credibility. Because that's like the number one rule in television, in anything. If you're in news, if you're in pop culture and music, like the second that I say, Cam, why should you speak on this? You're not this. Well, why should I speak on this? Why should any of us have an opinion about anything? And particularly in sports, you don't have to be a professional athlete to have an opinion on something. Fans are not professional athletes. They have opinions about their teams. They're on message boards. They're watching these shows. They're creating their own podcasts. Like, that is not a prerequisite to being a sports fan, of having a sports opinion. But when you're doing a show with anyone, you have to respect their point of view from whatever it is that it's come from. And once you question that, it's like, well, why should the audience listen to you then? If I don't listen to you because I don't respect you, then why should the audience? So I think that's just important to maintain in any space.
The reason why I asked is because that was on display for the world to kind of see it unravel. And me being in this space as well, too, on linear television, are there any barricades that you should never cross over? And if so, what are they? Obviously, you mentioned one, never question. Yeah,
I don't think you should not question your co-host's credibility, because it makes the show pointless. Why are we here talking to each other then? If you don't believe that I have any value in what I say because of my experiences, then neither one of us should be here.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you don't want to bring up personal things. You don't want to get into a space where you're throwing things in people's faces. I mean, doing a show with someone, it's like a partnership. There's a trust there. You don't want to throw something back at someone, or you want to set each other up for success. If you're going on something where you are truly an opponent, like we're having a political debate or something, like, yeah, sure, make them look stupid. Like, that's what you're trying to do. These are things that matter. This is life or death conversations. But when we're talking about sports, like, it should just never get that serious. You have to maintain, here's what I'll say. You've got to maintain composure. We're doing things that inherently require ego. Getting in front of a camera and thinking that your point of view matters requires a certain amount of delusion and ego. It just does. You can never allow your ego to take over the situation and work yourself up into a place where you're saying things that you would say, like when you're arguing at home. This is not the place for it. You have to stay composed. When you're ranting about something, you've got to stay composed, especially if it's live. If once what you're saying is out, it's out.
You don't get no hey, let's edit.
Yeah, we can't clip that off.
Yeah. I think going through what I've been through, you realize that Skip is genius. Colin, especially genius. When I think about a colleague, Stephen A. Smith, like, bro, being in it on the field, you don't really give the respect that, it's like, bro, you ain't never, that's the easy way. Like, man, you ain't never played, or you hating. But then when you really see the body of work, it's like, ooh, I see what you did. I see how you prepare. And I see how you brought it out, for the world to kind of understand your point. But do you think Shannon Sharpe gets the credit that he deserves?
I think Shannon, I think people are big fans of Shannon and big supporters of Shannon, and they should be. Shannon has worked really hard.
Yeah.
Shannon and I came in at the same time at Fox, but obviously had done television prior to that. But in this space where it's, you're going up against one of the giants in the industry of Skip Bayless leaving ESPN to go to Fox and launch this show to compete with First Take, like, that's a big thing to step into. And I saw firsthand how hard Shannon worked to build, his skills, his TV persona. I think, I'm sure he may not feel that way right now, but yeah, Shannon is an incredible talent.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I don't think a lot of people know how long he's been around. You know what I'm saying?
Well, young people only think of him as like Uncle Shay Shay.
Yeah.
He's a Hall of Fame
bro, he
football player.
definitely played football at a high level. And then he was covering sports for a long time. And then everybody just thinks, oh, the Cat Williams situation. It's like, no, like, he's extremely brilliant, you know, for...
Well, that was, the Cat Williams situation was his crossover moments to, you know, non-sports fans in like a real lasting way. But, you know, if you're a sports fan, you're aware of Shannon. And from just as someone who, you know, studies their business and has worked in this business a long time and saw him working firsthand, he has worked very hard to become the talent that he is, and he deserves credit for that.
Well, this particular individual has spoken about us both. Curious to know your thoughts. Mr. Whitlock. Jason.
Yes.
That is. Do you want to go there?
You want my thoughts on Jason Whitlock?
You want to go there?
Every time someone brings up Jason Whitlock, I can't believe he's still with us. I don't think anything works harder than his cholesterol, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. When he said that rack.
Okay, so before you go on, I've never watched this, okay? I am only aware of this from adjacent conversation. I did not watch a single second of this. So I don't know what he said.
Say less.
Okay.
Great.
As with anything he says or does, I couldn't give a fuck less, and I have not consumed any of it.
Well, I'm going to give you the footnotes or the spark notes of what he said.
He said something about peanut butter, right?
Yeah, that peanut
what a
butter.
shock. Food.
Yeah. Peanut butter skin.
Okay.
And when I was working with her, we would always see her rack, and I wanted to stay away from her because I knew what I would have done. And then I responded, and it was like, bro, that's not.
Well, I mean, he's so desirable.
Yeah. Yeah. But we love Jason.
No, we do. I do not. No, we don't. Who loves Jason? Does God love Jason?
Yeah, I do.
I do not. I do not love Jason. This is you say what you need to say. I do not. I don't love everybody.
He gives me reason. It's like, okay, bro. I can't wait to see him. I want to see him.
You will never see him.
Why is that?
You will never. Where are you going to see him? A hole? He is not going outside.
But why is that though? Because like
where is he going to go?
When I see, and I had to take counsel from my team. Shout out to RJ. Shout out to Kristen. Shout out to Peggy. It's like, bro, I never see my man. I just be wanting to.
You will never see him.
Where you at, bro? Like
he's hiding, which is where he should stay. I don't ever talk about him because I don't think about him because I don't care. But you're never gonna see him.
I can't wait.
I don't think he goes to the grocery store. You're not gonna see him. You can wait forever. You're not gonna see him.
Say less.
I would also love to see him. Well, I don't want to see him, but you know, there's better people to look at. But I mean, he's not going to go outside. You're not going to catch him outside.
Say less. You've compared Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese to Larry Bird and Magic Johnson.
Yes.
Can you break that down?
I've also given this comparison to the Magic Johnson, and he has agreed with me. Not that I would move off of it if he didn't, but just for the record, for everyone out there who thinks that I'm crazy, literally Magic Johnson agrees. But when the moment happened in the NCAA championship game where LSU won and Angel put the ring up in Caitlin's face, that was a moment in sports history that has really actually changed the course of women's sports history. We work in the storytelling business. We tell stories. We work off of narratives. We create giants. We weave the emotions of sports fans, and we need those moments in order to do it.
Right.
People get attached to moments. You can be an unbelievable player. If you don't have that polarizing thing, it's not going to cross over. What happened in that moment was the Magic Johnson, Larry Bird moment. If you know some sports history, you know the NBA was failing. It was a failing product. Don't think about what it is now, $300 million contracts. It wasn't that. It was a failing product. Magic Johnson and Larry Bird came into the NBA The Magic switchover happens. Magic winds up with the Lakers and Dr. Buss. Larry goes on his way. They have their battles. The Celtics, the Lakers, they save the league, right? It wasn't just because two great players came into the league and then were great. It's because they had a narrative. It's because Magic was perfect for the Lakers and what Dr. Buss was building. And they were able to create this marketable product that people cared about and were attached to. And Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese have that polarization to them naturally. And that moment with Angel Reese pushed Caitlin Clark into this other space where she was a crossover figure outside of sports.
For sure.
People, when I say this, get angry because they have this animosity towards Angel Reese, which is only the case because she is a outspoken, powerful Black woman, period, full stop. Now, they're constantly positioning her against Caitlin Clark and Caitlin Clark against Angel Reese, and there's so much more to the sport than that, obviously. Caitlin is not a victim. She is an incredibly great player. She has a huge career ahead of her. She was, in my opinion, one of the most impactful college basketball players, man or woman, that has ever touched the court. It's not about comparing Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark as players. It is what they represent and the conversation that they generate. And so when I use the Larry Bird, Magic Johnson comparison, it's because their marketability saved the league. And that is what Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark are doing.
Yeah.
And it's not that this is like, I think this. It's literally what happens. All I'm saying is what happens.
Yeah.
You don't have to think that Angel Reese will become Larry Bird or Magic Johnson, or that Caitlin Clark will be the greatest player in WNBA history or not. None of that matters.
Yeah.
It's the storylines behind them. It's the polarization. It's the animosity. It's the conversation that they generate, the marketing dollars that they generate, the eyeballs that they generate. You cannot manufacture that. And that moment, it's like selling a fight.
Yeah.
That moment created that. And it had a lot to do with racism. It had a lot to do with misogyny. It had a lot to do with cultural norms between women talking shit and how they behave. It would never even be a story if it was men. Yeah. And that is what literally happened. Like, I feel like a crazy person even talking about this. That's literally what happened.
Yeah.
And we're seeing it all now play out in the WNBA.
I don't think we've ever had it in this day and age where we attach women and rivalries together. But the thing that rivalries have positioned, it's not always bad.
Rivalries are so important.
You need it for ratings.
Yes.
And ratings impact revenue. Straight up. So, I mean, it's definitely something that...
It's not palatable when it comes to women.
Right.
When two men are going back and forth at each other on the football field, it's normal. It's competition.
Social norm.
It's testosterone. This is what you're supposed to do. They care about the game. When two women are doing it, visually, it's not been normalized enough for us to process it as something that's positive. It's this girl's petty, or she doesn't respect the face of the league, or she has an attitude problem. Like, they're competitors just as the men are. Yeah. Like, the conversation around Caitlin Clark that she needs to be protected or something is like, it's so dismissive of what she is as an athlete. Yeah. Why would they do that? What do you mean? You think the other women who have competed and worked their entire lives to get to this point are just gonna let her go to the basket? Yeah. This is not how this works. But it's an adjustment that we're making as a society to be able to consume women's sports in that way. One
thing that it does, it extracts emotion from a lot of people.
Yes.
So much so that Ryan Clark and RG3 have very different takes on Angel Reese. What did you think about, or what do you see? And here recently, Shaq has voiced his opinion as well about just that whole dynamic and situation playing out.
I think that Angel Reese elicits a really disgusting side of the internet. She bothers men in a way that is so fascinating to me. Her presence, her play, her photos, her hair, like her podcast, everything she does irritates men so much.
I don't think it's just men.
Not all men. Not all men. Nothing is everything in all. Not all men.
Yeah.
But fans of the WNBA do not consume Caitlin Clark. Like, fans who are fans of the WNBA before Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese arrived do not consume this the way that everyone else does.
Yeah.
Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark are important for the league. But the way that Angel Reese has been positioned like this villain is, it's so bizarre to me. Like, she asked for it. They both do the same thing. Do you not see Caitlin yelling at referees? Do you not see Caitlin being physical, talking shit after she makes a shot? They do the same thing.
Love it, by the way. And with Angel. I think
and it should be.
Yeah.
But Angel is the one who gets the
blame.
Criticism.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's the quiet part, but there's a difference between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark.
I think there's this similarity that both are unicorns. Right?
They are.
In a way.
But people will be mad at you for saying that because they feel that Caitlin is a better player.
For sure. Well, that's subjective. But I will say, just as much as Caitlin is needed, because she is definitely needed in a league like the WNBA, you also have to look at what Angel Reese means to the culture and what she represents as a whole.
Yes.
And I don't think that is always commendable. Now, let's not forget about the Asia Wilsons of the world, who also does her big one as well too. But there's also a lot of other talent that, the Tarajis, the scholars of the world, like that came before the Brittany Griners. Yes, but now there's been a shift a little bit. And it's sad that there's a hero and then there's a villain. And it sucks that Angel is villainized and, Caitlin takes the high road, because you don't get to where Caitlin has gotten or is with being the nice girl.
Well, and she's not the nice girl on the court.
Mm-hmm. You cannot.
And neither is Angel. But the whole thing to me is just, like, if these were two men, we just wouldn't talk about this. Like, we just wouldn't.
No.
You guys talk shit to each other all the time.
That's normal.
You fight all the time. You're in each other's faces. You're talking shit all the time. Like, that's the point. We enjoy it. It's just, take a little adjustment. It's going to take a little time. And there's new eyeballs in the WNBA.
Yeah.
The WNBA is a very physical league. They've been doing this a long time. Mm-hmm. Everyone's going to be all right. They're grown women.
Yeah. Period. Exclamation point. No. The moment that we've all been waiting for here.
Oh, we didn't get to the moment yet?
Not yet.
Oh, no.
Yeah, before we... You got it tight.
Oh, my God, I can't.
That water ain't hitting like that. That Saratoga, that Ashton Hall ain't hitting like that.
No, this is Blanco. Do I have a type? Yes, I do. I do have a type.
Are you dating?
I am. Ish. I am.
Is he the one, or you found a couple ones?
A couple ones.
Dating is a very, very intriguing definition per the deliverer of the definition.
It is true. That's true. Everyone has a different definition. Like dating, you could be dating somebody. Dating means you could just be outside. Yeah. Dating means you could be single, but you're looking to date. Yeah. There's lots of different versions of it. I will say this. I don't want to be in a public relationship. So I would not speak on a relationship if I was in one. But because I've done it before. It's not a good experience for me. I don't enjoy it. I don't like it. I don't. Why are you rolling your eyes?
Because you ain't keeping it funky. Like, the people want to know.
What do they want to know?
Should they shoot their shot after this show drops?
Well, that depends. I was showing Kenny some DMs before in the green room. Can I hit is not gonna get it done.
Wow.
Like,
from blue checkers?
Yes.
No way.
Can I hit is crazy. You know what I feel like is crazy about the DMs? Why do you trust that I won't post these? Isn't that crazy? I mean, you're really investing a lot of trust in a stranger. That they, like, a text message is different. If you have my number and you text, like, there's a trust-ish within a text message that, like, I'm texting you, we have a communication.
Those are weirdos. That's too strong. Like, you come in there, you banging on the door. Just knock on the door.
That's crazy.
Now, okay.
It's not an effective tool.
Let me ask you this way. Is your expectation skewed because of what you've witnessed growing up in a household or being around men from that dynamic and working with men, has that skewed your kind of expectations for while you're dating?
No. I think that everyone is different. I think you can be in a space where you travel, where you're a front-facing person, where you're a wealthy person, a good-looking person. I think, people go through different phases in their life, and they're different in different spaces. Like I don't think that just because somebody has a particular job that they're definitely going to cheat or any of those things. I think you may have a higher opportunity or options, but for me, I really have to feel safe. If I don't feel safe with a person, I cannot engage. And I have to show up so masculine all the time. Like I have to be so strong and have to ignore so much noise and have to show up for myself in so many spaces and have to, block off so much noise and compartmentalize that when I'm with a man, I want to feel like he is providing the masculine space. I don't want to have to be masculine with a man. And that can be a very interesting dynamic to find because sometimes people feel like they have to match my masculine energy. And I'm like, no. Like, let me be soft. Let me be a woman. Let me be the pretty princess that doesn't know how to, use the door. And you provide the masculine space. And I think there's a really gentle kindness in a man that knows how to show up for a woman in that way.
What do you want?
I want somebody who is consistent, somebody who is kind, somebody who is disciplined and passionate, and someone who did not vote for Trump.
Cool. But if he voted for Trump, there's a chance that it may be for tax benefits. Okay,
I have accountants too.
And they probably voted for.
I don't know who they voted for. No, I'm not kidding about that, but I'm not gonna ask somebody that on a date. I really I'm an energy person. Like I need to feel the energy between the two of us. Yeah. And I need to feel safe.
Listen, I owe a service to my partners that's out there. My bros, hey. We're gonna do, we need.
But I will say this. I don't like time wasters. Like and I'm not having kids. I don't want kids.
What?
I don't want kids. I've been saying this for years. I don't want kids. I don't want kids. I do not want children.
That's not a problem. I just want to know.
I've never wanted children. I physically don't want them. I've got a huge family. I love kids. I always have.
But you keep them at you the fun auntie.
I'm the fun auntie. Here's some stuff. Here's some sugar. Off to your parents. And then I'm going to Barcelona. So just, we're not getting pregnant. We're not getting the girls.
But could you date a guy who has children?
Yes. But not a man that has children and has baby mama issues. You have to have a good...
You got to nuke that.
No. I think you need to have a good, respectful relationship with...
No, I'm saying nuke it as in, like, it has to be controlled. There's been an understanding on both sides from expectations from the man and the female. Co-parenting has to be in check.
Yeah. I'm not doing drama. I can't... I personally am not signing up for that. I'm not going through that journey with you. I've dated men with children. It's not... I love children. But I cannot do that part of it. And I think that that's also, for anyone, like, how you speak about your exes is important to me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to know your whole dating history in the first 2 days that I know you. And I don't want to hear about how crazy she is and all like that. No. You should have a respect for even the people that did you wrong, because people have done horrible things to me. There's a way that you speak about people that you were intimate with that I am very judgy about. Like, how do you view people that you have chosen to engage with? And even if they've done terrible things, why are you sharing this with me? Like, are you trying to prove something about yourself in this? Like, it's just not, it's information I should earn. And so I think when it comes to people who have children with other people, even if it didn't go well, it's both of your responsibility to raise these children. And I'm just not going through a drama journey.
What's the youngest you'll date?
25 is my floor. Although I date men my age. I'm 38.
What's the oldest?
I said 70. This Paul Pierce podcast is gonna haunt me forever, Paul. I said 70. I'm not
70
I'm
ball?
not dating. Listen, Cam. If I bring my 68-year-old man in here because we landed on the plane, you better act nice, okay?
Oh, he here?
And normal, all right? We got a seat on the plane for you, okay?
That's cool, but I'm going to still call him. Dang.
Girls, we're going on a trip, right? Okay? But just
He's 68?
I'm not dating 68-year-old men.
Papa.
You're asking my range.
Oh, but that... Papa.
Listen, don't worry about it.
I see why y'all going to sleep at 9 p.m.
Exactly. In the covers.
Smelling like Bengay and doggone menthol. What?
What's that rub? Vapor rub?
Vicks, vapor rub.
Smell like Vicks.
And chamomile tea.
Mm-hmm. It's a nice soft life.
Yeah, but it's... Okay. I'm going to revamp this question of the day. You ready for it?
I don't know, but yes.
You have to choose one.
Okay.
Live a boring life or live a toxic life?
I feel like I've already made my choice.
Go.
I think that at this point, you're asking me today?
I'm talking about today.
Today I would live a boring life. Today I would live a boring life. But I say that because I've had enough toxic experiences to know that I'm not going to make it through a toxic life. I'm personally not going to make it. It's jail or somewhere else for me, but I can't do it. And I don't want to go to jail. I can't do it. I cannot do it. I cannot do it. I cannot do a toxic life. A nice, boring life for me.
Man, please. What,
you know
skeleton emoji, bubbling emoji, doctor emoji, what's the gas mask emoji? Mm-hmm. Send all that to me. Baby,
you're not believing it?
You got to be rough around the edges.
I can't do it.
I'm in that.
No, you want to know my type? Not toxic. Not toxic.
Just a sprinkle of it.
No, okay. But a sprinkle is different than a whole cupcake. Okay, I'm talking. No. See, you did a heavy.
No, that's a spoon.
A spoon. No, I don't want a spoonful. I want like 2 sprinkles.
Salt Bay.
Yeah, salt bay amount of toxic.
Salt Bay of toxicity.
Yeah. I want you to be stressed out that I am not around, right? In a healthy way. But anything more than that, I can't do. I'm not gonna do it. I can't do it.
Man, that 68-year-old gonna be narcoleptic.
Exactly. Yeah. Life is too short to be stressed out. And what are we stressed out about? What are we fighting?
No short
I'm not
life.
fighting.
He lived all his life. At 68, he almost up out of here. We playing chess. You know
well,
what
I'm not dating a 68-year-old.
Oh.
You asked me my range, that's my range. That's my cutoff. But what I'm saying is I cannot fight anymore. I'm tired. I'm tired, Cam. I can't be fighting. I can't be arguing. Why are you here? Who's that? No. I'm not doing. When did you meet them? I'm not doing none of that. Zero.
Okay, could you date a person who make less money than you?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because not understanding who you are comes with you're a dope female, right? That gives you access to a lot of dope males. And a person who doesn't know that or understands what your work-life personal balance is, it's like, y'all going on a work trip? Is it really a work trip?
Well, I think it depends on, first of all, if they make less money than me, like that's all relative, right? Like I'm not dating someone just for their financial status, but I do want to date someone who's passionate about what they do. So you don't have to make as much money as me, but you have to care about what it is you do or care about something. Like you can't just be aimlessly walking around the earth, like not having a passion for something. For me, 1. 2, when you're in certain businesses, you have to date people that understand it or are of the character type that they're not stressed out about certain things.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily have to be business adjacent, but you're a very patient, understanding person. You're a very trusting person, any of those things. But I think the biggest thing really is just confidence. Like confidence and trust are very important. If you're confident within yourself, if you're confident within the relationship, and you guys have established a foundation, then that type of stuff doesn't matter. But that takes time.
Last question. What's next for Joy Taylor?
Well, hopefully everyone watching will go and subscribe to Too Personal and follow the show. I have some things that I'm working on that will be out very soon. But honestly, what's next for me is I'm going to keep growing in what I've already been building. You know, I knew at some point, right, things were going to change. They always do. And that's a part of the business, and that's a part of life. And, you know, some of the changes are more dramatic than others, but I have a lot of things that I've been working on for a long time. The podcast being one of them, and I'm, you know, excited about the growth that we've had from it and the platform that I'm building with it. And like I said, you know, we're not done. There's lots of things, there's lots of spaces, there's lots of platforms, there's lots of things to be a part of. And I've been doing this a long time, and my reputation is what it is because of the work that I've done.
Yeah.
And yeah, just stay tuned.
I will encourage you to lean in. And I'm so intrigued to see what comes from it. Because, like, you got it. You have, like, your voice, you know, penetrates ears in a way. Like, wait, what'd she say? Not a lot of people have that.
Thank you, Kim.
Lean in on it. And as we end things here, Funky Friday. Can you follow the script? Are you coachable? I'm gonna give you some instructions. When I say all together, we're gonna say one love. When I say all together, we're gonna say one love. When I say all together, we're gonna say what?
One love.
See, there you go. It's the first 15 minutes, the last 15 minutes. You gotta, you know, you mentally drain, you know, that's 68.
Cozy now. We've been chatting for a while.
A while, yeah. One love. Nah.
You want me to give you that football energy?
That cheerleader energy. It was a joke. It was a joke. It was a layup. It just blurted out itself. It was like, I'm sorry. It was a joke, ladies and gentlemen. Like, watch the whole interview and you'll see.
It was perfect.
When I say all together, we're gonna say what?
One love.
Here we go. We're gonna go to this camera, boom, one finger. Then we go to your camera, one pinky, and then we're gonna go to our camera and one thumb. And when I say all together, we're gonna say what?
One
Here we
love.
go. You ready? One finger.
One.
Whose man's I'm ready to get up out of here, man. I got lemon pepper wings. Here we go. When I say all together, here we go. One finger, one pinky, one thumb, all together.
One love.
Ladies and gentlemen, Joy Taylor. Thank you.